It's Herm's house.
Love and family.
In Herm's house.
Not just you and me.
Hello, and welcome to Herm's House Podcast in studio. I'm your host. I am Herm. Good to meet you. And this is my lovely, beautiful, wonderful wife, Kristin, my co-host.
Hi.
How do you do?
Welcome.
Welcome to the new podcast. It's in studio.
In studio.
This is a studio.
Yes.
Which is significantly different than what we do at the house.
It is.
Because at the house, it's literally just us on our desks in front of our computers.
Right. And he mentions in our house, because if you're following us already,
Yep.
we have Herm's House podcast
Yep.
in the house.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the one that we do that's more family oriented. It's got a lot of Gordy in it, and Gordy's our youngest child, and he is the Tasmanian devil, if you will. Is that too old of a reference?
It might
Do you think
be.
people
It
get
might
that
be a
still?
little bit too old.
Because I didn't realize how
But maybe not for the people that are watching
demographic.
our show.
Okay,
right?
they're gonna be like,
Tasmanian
for sure.
Devil.
Yeah, you guys know, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't think of somebody that's more recent.
Stitch.
Stitch.
I would call him Stitch.
Okay, he's like Stitch,
There you
except
go.
he speaks fluent English.
I mean, Stitch spoke English.
He struggled.
If you say so. Well, so does Gordy.
That's
so
fair.
That
Is fair. Yeah, but that is he does provide the majority of our content in the other podcast. But this podcast for us is going to be, I'm not going to say significantly different, but it's going to be.
No, we'll keep the same vibe as far as honesty and being real and keeping the conversations open.
keeping it real.
Yes.
That's all I do.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
All the time of what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, here in
Got
the
it.
studio.
Understood.
Because if you watch us in-house, normally Herm has a cutoff shirt.
Normally.
So if you see him now,
Yes,
he's
I
wearing
have
sleeves.
sleeves.
Yeah, it's a little bit more professional.
It was contractual.
It was contractual. It wasn't the
They said,
contract. I
yeah.
said, make sure
He's got to wear
he
sleeves.
wears sleeves. Yeah.
And I'm wearing pants.
Yes.
Yes.
And pants.
Yes.
Because we never know if you're wearing pants.
Because
in the house
again, like I
or
said,
not.
spoiler alert, I'm not.
Yes.
So, anyways, this one's going to be geared a little bit more, like we said, relationships, our marriage. We are veterans. That is one thing that we want to make sure that this is, I guess, emphasized.
Yes.
Is that both of us are veterans. I did 20 years in the service. You did 6 years. Both of us Air Force. And with that said, we're going to kind of try to focus on other veterans and have them as guests and, just discuss marriage, relationships, parenting, all the fun things that are for sure going to make you fight
No, I mean.
at some point.
Yes. So, I mean, and fighting's not bad. No, disagree. I mean, fighting, yes, but disagreements and understanding each other
Yeah.
and the different aspects of communication.
Like Gordy will say, you guys are fighting when we're literally just in the middle of a conversation. And he's like, y'all need to stop fighting. It's like,
We're just talking.
my voice
buddy.
isn't even raised, bro. I don't know what you're talking
Yes.
about. Yeah. So
And this specific podcast in studio is giving the voice to our veteran community,
Our
the veteran
veteran
couples,
community.
because that is also a tough role to play.
correct.
As a veteran couple.
Yes.
I mean, the stats against us are crazy.
Stacked
Stacked
against
us.
us.
But the stats.
Yes.
I also meant stats.
No. They're stacked against us. I was confirming what you said.
Oh, I thought you were
negative.
correcting me. He likes to do that a lot too.
That's a
He
lie.
corrects me.
That's a lie. I'll correct that.
Right.
That's a lie.
But we acknowledge it. And we're just knowing that we're helping each other out.
Just because you can't saber aside. Anyways, for the new podcast listeners, at least for the new show, I think it's only best we introduce ourselves.
Yes.
At least officially.
Officially.
Right. And of course, I'm going to let ladies go first because, as we all know, I'm from Texas. And in Texas, we have manners.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Ma'am.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm Kristin Hermosillo, which is Herm.
Right.
And we'll talk about that. And you can talk about your nickname.
Yep.
Herm by marriage. And that's our house. We live in it together. So
Yep.
that's Herm's house. That's where we got that from.
Correct. I think they
but-
figured that one out.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought I'd just add that in there.
Yeah.
But from Arizona, born and raised, I grew up and went to Tucson High. Shout out Badgers. Woo. Graduated and had babies very young.
Yes, you did.
I was a teen mom and had my baby shortly after that.
Not on the show, just to clarify.
No, I wasn't
You
on the
weren't
show.
a teen mom.
No. Well, I
You
was
just
a
happened to be a
mom.
teen mom.
Right. That would have been cool.
You know?
Yeah. I was a teen mom around the show that the time that show came out.
The way
so.
that they live their lives nowadays.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think you're doing good now.
Anyways, so had babies young, decided to join the military.
Yes.
I'm a legacy. My grandfather was in the Air Force.
Yep.
My uncle in the Air Force. So I decided to join. It was the best thing I could have ever done for my life. The confidence, the leadership, all the things it brought for me were amazing. And I always say, if you have the opportunity to do it, do it.
Not to mention you were able to get a degree while you were in there.
I was.
Yep.
It got me my benefits, and that's why I decided to get out. I got my degree, got all my benefits, and decided to have a baby
Yeah.
with you.
I remember that guy.
And I wasn't a teen at that point.
No.
He was the one we actually planned
Yeah.
and made it
He was
work.
on purpose and everything.
Yeah,
How about that?
right?
Unlike the rest of them. Anywho.
And got my degree. I now have this amazing podcast that I'm doing with you, our
Yep.
family with 5 kids, so mom of 5.
A lot of kids.
Yes, a lot of kids. A lot of what I like to focus on is mental health and mental awareness, because I dealt with a lot when it came to my mental health there. So just giving people a voice in that.
Right.
But specifically for this podcast is just sharing our experiences when it was in the military and
Yeah.
how we navigated the relationship then
And even getting out.
and getting out
Mm-hmm.
and then dealing with our kids and all of those things.
Yes.
But yeah, I got out and now I have a marketing firm
Yep.
that I do with my sister.
You want to say what that one's called?
Yeah, Beautiful Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
I'd love it too.
Because of our last names.
Right.
Our last name, my last name, Hermoso, beautiful, and Domingo, Sunday. So that's how we got that name. But
Gotcha.
yeah, and that's what I'm doing, helping the community and outreach and all those amazing things.
All the fun things.
Yeah. Now, what about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got to introduce myself.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know who I am.
I know.
Yeah, no. Herm. I am David Hermosillo, but I grew up in West Texas. I was born in the Dallas area, and then I moved over to Odessa, Texas. I went to Odessa Permian. What up?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's shout out class 2004. What's going on?
And Friday Night Lights.
Friday night, I was almost there. I was to say,
Surprised that
also
wasn't
the home
first.
of, I had to say what's up to the guys. To Josh and them. You know what I'm talking about.
Everybody that's
Friday Night Lights. All two of you guys. Friday Night Lights, the movie with, Tim McGraw and Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw it once.
it's great.
Anyways.
Top 5 sports movies in the history of sports. Anyways, I was there the year that they filmed it, which is my claim to fame, even though I was nowhere near the actual movie itself inside of it. You know, I got to watch it and watch it get filmed and all that fun stuff.
Right.
But I have 2 brothers and I am in the middle, if you can't tell. Yeah. Kind of like the black sheep, but not quite the black sheep. You know what I mean? Because I'm just the one that doesn't stop talking,
Right.
I guess. And the other
Which
2.
makes you so good.
Correct.
For podcasts.
At podcasting.
Right.
I guess. We'll do it. That's fine. I'm the middle kid. I graduated high school after I got out of Odessa Permian, and I decided I'm going to go join the military. I was not a legacy. I was actually the first one in my family to graduate high school. Everybody else was, blue collar, hardworking, get out there and mainly in the oil fields. And go ahead, you can do the oil fields.
Oil
Yes.
fields.
A lot of oil field workers out there. A lot of my family's out there. They are also in the fields, and that was not the future that I wanted. I didn't know what future I wanted. I remember going to the recruiter and saying, "Hey, I want to work on jets." Dummy.
Well, and didn't you say that the Air Force was the only one there, like everybody else was?
Well, my buddy, another guy that we was hanging out with, he said, "I'm going to go join the Air Force. They're offering a bonus." And I was like, "Well, I'll go talk to them," but I wanted to talk to other recruiters as well, because in the mall we had all branches right there in one hallway.
Right.
Well, then when I get there, the Air Force is the only one that had a recruiter in the office to begin with. So I was like, imagine that. We're the only ones that are working. No, we had a desk, so we were the only ones that were there. The chair force, you get it.
Sure.
Anyways, I told him I wanted to work on jets, and he was like, "I got the job for you." I was a armament specialist. That just means I got to play with a lot of bombs and missiles and bullets and all that fun stuff. I did that for several years, and then I transitioned to become a recruiter. I was one that got everybody into the Air Force. Now, every time they were like, "Oh, you don't sign anything. I was the one that was as transparent as possible to tell you, dude, you could sign anything. It doesn't matter. You're not in until you literally raise your right hand in front of a commander
Right.
and sign away a DD Form 4. And those, I can't remember my forms anymore.
Forms.
It's been a minute. Yeah. And that's when you leave for basic training, that's when you're actually signed and you're
Right.
enlisted. But anything before that, I'm like, you're not, I mean, it's a commitment, but it's not a commitment. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you were one of the best recruiters they had.
100%. I'll
like-
claim that. That's all day. I mean, I big shout out to my 2 states that I recruited in, was in California and Texas. But I was the one that got the award for per capita, the best, most amount of enlistments in my area. But I was in a much smaller town than, San Francisco, LA,
Sure.
all those.
It was a small town,
It was a
so
super small town.
per capita.
Per capita. I was crushing it. You know what I mean? And then we went out to El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss, and that's where we retired out of. But I did retire. I did my 20 and a half.
We retired.
We retired.
We retired.
As a master sergeant. Yeah. I was a master sergeant, E7,
We.
what up, of course.
We.
And of course, not without the help of a million people along the way. And we made a ton of friends. And the biggest reason that this is happening as far as Herm's House is because we were always the hosts, especially as a recruiter.
Yes.
I really took care of the applicants that stuck around, and when I would see them go into drill, because I was active duty and Air National Guard. So of course you had your 1 week in a month that I would go to drill, and then you talking to the guys and telling them, hey, we're having a barbecue. If you guys want to come hang out and do whatever, and the conversation amongst the unit was always, hey, you guys going to Herm's house? Yeah, I'll be there.
Which is crazy too, because I wasn't really which you can't really tell being on the podcast and me talking a lot and being on the show.
Right.
But opening up to people at first was really difficult for me. And you kind of took me out of my box. I think in our relationship, you're that person that's like the extrovert and out there and talking to everybody and inviting everybody over.
Yeah.
And then telling me last minute.
Afterwards.
Afterwards. Yeah. After you set up a whole barbecue, a whole thing at our house, you're like, oh, by the way, we have like 20 people coming over this weekend.
Like the ribs are getting ready to go on already. And you're like,
Okay.
oh, you're making ribs? Yeah, we got the whole unit coming.
Fine.
What?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you got used to it after a while.
I did. And it did become Herm's house.
Right.
Like people would come over and would just share with us their stories, their struggles.
All the things.
All the things they would, and it was just an amazing atmosphere. I mean, to this day, and that's why we're like, you guys need a show. You need something.
Yeah.
And that's why we brought it.
And again,
here.
like I said, I have expressed this before. We did need a show, and I thought it was going to be like the Kardashians or something similar, but I have a face for radio, and that's why we chose to do a podcast. But then you started recording it anyway,
Yeah.
and then now we got like 18 cameras in here. So
Gotta give the people what they
give
want.
the people what they want. I don't think that's what they're getting at. But yeah, I guess we can talk about I guess what we really want out of this podcast, but I guess the first topic for this podcast, is that something that you want to introduce?
Yeah. And I think we're going into it just because based on like the goals and what we have for the podcast overall is to really give a platform for veteran couples to feel seen, feel heard. We want to bring professionals on here. We want to bring other couples that have gone through it and have gone through the struggles and made it through, and maybe some that didn't, right? And
Or haven't yet,
or the lessons they've learned in that. And to be able to spread that and create a community where people can come together and feel seen and heard and share those stories with each other. And so a lot of the topics we're going to be talking about are going to be focused around marriage.
Marriage.
We got
Marriage.
marriage.
Yes.
No, we have an amazing doctor that gave us this book and this workbook to work through that we're going to be working off of. It's Staying True to Yourself While Being Married by Dr. Candace McLean. She's amazing, and she's been working through a lot of this with us. And so now we're going to bring that to you because the
to
material.
clarify, we aren't doctors.
No, we're not
far
doctors.
from it.
We're not.
No, I mean, I did go to school. I got myself a little degree and whatnot, but I am not a doctor.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I
no.
just want to clarify to everybody.
That is true. Well,
It's very non-clinical.
And what we bring, I think that's huge because what we bring is our experience, our
Yes.
lived experience. We were both married prior.
Yes.
We both had kids very young.
Yep.
We have a blended family. We have a kid together.
5 kids.
We've gone through deployment and not the
TDYs
typical,
galore.
right? Like I was the one that was deployed.
Right.
And so we've gone through a lot of these things that we can share these experiences, hopefully have some kind of relatability when
Sure.
it comes to that and just being able to to share those things with
Yeah,
everybody.
and I'm just here to make the people laugh. While you go and you do all that cool stuff, I'll just, crack a joke here and there, and hopefully they let me stay on.
The
And that'll be-
comedic relief.
Yeah, the comedic relief. So when
You do that very well,
Right.
especially during like awkward moments. You're like, tell a joke.
yeah, well,
Okay.
and then
This is
I try
the
because that's
timing.
is the best way to get through life. I think.
Yes.
Just laugh.
Well, it's true.
Wow.
And I think that is one big thing in our relationship that helps us get through a lot of the times is the humor and the laughs and the fun.
Right.
And you find yourself back to that,
Sure.
even through the hard times.
Let's be fair. Everybody's always asking me like, "How the heck did I get you?" Because let's be fair. Come on. And I'm like, I made her laugh, and then I just continue to. Now, mind you, we've been together for a little over 10 years now, and the jokes probably don't hit as hard as they used to.
You still
but-
get one every once in a
But
while.
but that's why it's better whenever other people come over because then I make them laugh. And then I'm like, you're looking at it like he's told that joke 18 times in like the last 2 weeks or something. I don't know. But it works for me.
Yes.
So, whatever.
And I think with that, when it comes to what we thought about or what we see as what is marriage,
Yes.
and
We had two very different upbringings.
we did have two different upbringings.
Yes.
And understanding as a couple, even coming before, because we also had previous marriages.
Right.
So we had an idea of what we thought marriage could have been.
Correct.
And then it changed, right? So it didn't work out, unfortunately, with the previous, or I guess fortunately.
I was gonna say, I thought it was pretty
because,
fortunate.
Yeah, we found each other. But the learned experiences of it and then determining when we got together what marriage is.
Yeah.
And what we feel marriage is.
Sure.
And at this point, for you, coming into it, what did you think marriage was?
Coming into this one or the first one?
I'd say let's start at the very beginning.
Start at the very beginning. I think it was, I grew up, my biological father rolled out when I was, I think, 4. And then my stepdad didn't come into the picture until I was about 12. So that was a big old gap, 8 years of just a single mom. So I didn't know what marriage was to begin with. You know what I mean? It was just a mom going to work, taking care of kids. And that was it. But then my stepdad came in, and it was very, very traditional in a sense of like, I would say machismo for a lack of a better terms. The fact that, the dad is the head of the household, mom serves dad, and kids, go clean the house. and it wasn't anything that I didn't know to mirror or not to mirror. Mm-hmm. It wasn't so much. I guess I just didn't know how to accept it. Then whenever I get married, I guess I didn't really have a solid relationship to mirror. I guess I didn't want to say mirror a third time, but sure. to reflect. That's what mirrors do. Got them.
Go. Well, and you were technically married twice
Get out of here.
before me,
Don't
but
count.
no, but that's important. Let me tell you,
Why?
that's so important.
It is.
Especially in the veteran community,
Because everybody knows
because
if you're active duty and you're living in them dorms, what's the quickest way to get out of the dorms?
you get married.
You get married. Duh.
So that is important
No,
to
I know.
mention.
I'm just.
And you don't have to be embarrassed
I'm
about
not
it.
embarrassed about it at all.
You did want to mention it.
Oh, I don't care to
Although
mention
it was funny how I found
No,
out
that's not how
that
you
I was
found
the
out.
third wife.
That is not how you found out.
when we were sitting at the
That
Deer's
is-
office. And if, for those of you that don't know the Deer's office, it's the office like the personnel where they kind of in process and do those things. So when Gordy was born at the Army Hospital in El Paso, Texas,
William Beaumont.
yes, we were going to do the paperwork.
Yep.
And the ladies,
We were doing his birth certificate and all
yes,
that
his birth
because he was
certificate,
a day old.
putting him in there.
Yep.
And she's typing it up and she goes, "Oh, so you're the third wife?"
And I'm looking at her like,
Like, what?
she literally counted. Was like, 1, 2, you're number 3, and
Yeah.
I was like,
I
what?
did know you were married
But-
twice before that. But can you imagine if I
I
didn't know?
lost-
Can you imagine? I'd be like, the third wife.
How many poor at that place? It was a bunch of soldiers because it was an army post.
Right.
Going over there, and my man doesn't say nothing,
Just
and
say
he's
nothing.
over here doing the birth certificate. She's like, "Oh, your wife number 2 or 3," and she'd be like, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yes.
I don't understand why she thought it was her place
I
to.
don't know.
Why
She
you gotta
should-
count it out loud and
That's
just put me on blast
crazy.
like that? Real rude.
But either way,
one,
the first marriage, I
in
know
no
this
way
happens a
was
lot.
It was an arrangement,
Right.
And
But it happens a lot
Correct.
in the military.
Yes.
People get married because they're like, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's get married.
And don't get me wrong, it was. I was dating the girl. It wasn't like she was just some
a random,
right.
yeah.
So I mean, we were dating, but and we ended up living together, and I think we lived together for a solid 2 months Because
And then-
lo and behold,
Oh yeah.
lo and
Yeah,
behold, didn't work out.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the relatability about it is people do that.
100%.
And so you can't really, I mean, when you're defining marriage at that sense, you just defined it as an escape.
It was an agreement.
It was an agreement.
That's
it was an
it.
escape from getting out of the dorms.
Right.
And that is, some people see it like that.
Terrible idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's 100%. But then the second one was a girl I was dating. Again, relatability. She gets pregnant, and what's the best way to have that baby for free? Essentially, you get married. You give her your benefits, and that's essentially what happened. Now, at the time, obviously, still young. I think I was 21 when my second child came in, because I did have another one before that, but that was not a marriage thing. I get told about it after high school, and I have a kid, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's neat. So my second child, I'm technically married to her mother. It's my daughter. So I have a son and a daughter whenever I met you. And it wasn't a friendship. I think that was what the hardest part was, is the fact that it wasn't a friendship. Whenever it turned into marriage, at that point, it was just kind of like you made a commitment, so you have to stick to it.
Right.
And that was, I guess, one of the things that I can say about my parents is they're resilient as heck. They've been married, I think, 28 years now. And it was something that certainly was not easy for them, and, fighting and making it work. And they're still married today. So, I mean, that's a plus.
Well, and I think in that sense, when your belief in marriage was you have to stay committed.
Right.
Because you need to take care of your family.
Miserable or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think when I look back at my first marriage, I had my son, right, a month after turning 18.
Right.
And the marriages I saw growing up, one most importantly was my grandparents, who were together for a really long time. But they also got together when my grandmother was 15 years old. And
14.
Yeah, 14, and my grandfather was 19. Of course, different times back then.
That was like the 50s.
Right. But I kind of saw that and I was like, well, if they can make it work, I can make it work.
Yeah, it's the
right?
same thing.
And as a teenager, you think you know everything.
Of course.
And especially...
At least ours do.
Right. And then I had a baby. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make this work. I have to make this work. And got into this marriage and really worked on things, because I was like, that's what you do. You stick it out.
Right.
My parents had a relationship. They are also divorced now. But it was rough. I think it was the same belief that you stick together. You make it work, no matter how unhappy you are.
Yeah.
You do it for the kids. You do it because that's what you're supposed to do. And so in my first marriage, I think that's kind of what I was going through. Like, I wasn't truly myself in that marriage. I was trying to be someone I wasn't, and trying to be in the marriage and trying to make it work even though I was unhappy. And then we didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of things. And it was really tough because it was a family I knew for a long time.
Yeah.
And so having to have that split. But once I did, and then shortly after getting into the relationship with you, we did start out as friends.
Right.
So it was like a different dynamic.
Well, that was a big thing, because I was going to get married after I got a divorce.
Right.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Heck no.
Yeah.
We don't want to go through that again. Yeah.
Like, dang it.
But it was different, like the idea of marriage. Because now coming into the idea of marriage is like, no, this is what I want. And I think when we came into the relationship and we started kind of get serious, we're like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is what I need. And I'm going to be unapologetically me.
Correct.
And so I think going into that and seeing a marriage as the team, I think that's our approach.
Yeah.
And at least for how I see it is marriage, you're a team.
Like I said, speaking of teams, when we first got together, if you're not going to be a fan of my teams, we're not going to be together. And that was, at first it kind of sounded like a joke, but I was like, these are the things that are important to me. Yeah. The dang Cowboys, I unfortunately love them to death. And I told you, like, if you're not going to be part of that, then it's not going to work. And to discuss something ahead of time rather than deal with it when it gets there,
right?
Like, that's what causes a lot of tension in multiple marriages.
Yes.
What makes it even worse is in the military, when one of them has to leave and you didn't communicate any kind of wants or needs or any of that stuff, and they take off to whether it be a deployment or a TDY, which is just a temporary. And it's if you go and you leave mad, or you leave and then you do something that makes the other one mad, but then the other one doesn't say anything. You get back and then it's fighting, and then it's or just a bunch of pent up, anger or whatever you want to call it. But that was one of the biggest things that I grew up in Texas, and football was huge for me, and I love baseball and all the things, and I made it very well known.
Yes.
That's what I like. That's what the kind of things, because I don't really do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's the most important thing when you're coming into it, and what a marriage is talking about it.
Of course.
Talking about it first thing with your partner and
Continuously.
continuously talk, because things change.
And
We
you can't say,
change.
well, we talked about this. Okay, we got to talk about it again.
Right.
Because whatever's happening, it ain't working like the way I wanted it to work, or maybe it is working the way I wanted it to work. But I realize that now that's not the way I wanted it to work.
Yes, and when you started the conversation, you said traditional marriage.
Correct.
Which that isn't traditional for everybody.
No.
It looks different for everybody. So your idea of marriage and your partner's idea of marriage can
Correct.
be two different things.
Absolutely.
So
Could
it's
be.
huge when coming into a relationship and starting to talk about marriage is defining what that means.
Correct.
And having a conversation about it.
Yeah, having a conversation and just saying, don't try to say what the other person wants to hear. I think that's a really difficult thing for a lot of people is what's going to make her like me more?
Right.
Just say the things that are going to make you happy, the things that will upset you. It's okay, especially if you're thinking about marrying somebody. Open up about your insecurities, about the things that bother you, the things that are going to make you feel lesser than, and you really hope that this person doesn't take advantage of that. You hope that they. I would say that is one of the huge things that you do. You're very compassionate, you're very loving, and you're very like, no. Look, you're going through this thing, and I'm like, you don't know nothing, and tell me what to do. And then I look back at it, I'm like, God dang it, she knew exactly what the heck I was talking about. Yeah.
Well, and that is ultimately, it's the communication of it. And be authentically you. Be authentically you. And if it just doesn't match up at the beginning stages when you're talking about it and you're discussing marriage, that's okay.
I feel like that's super cliche to say, well, you got to communicate. Make sure you communicate. But it's so important when it talks about communication, when you say, this is what I want, and this is what I like and dislike. And to not say it in an angry tone and not just be like, I hate that. Just say, hey, look, listen, this is bothering me, or this is making me unhappy, or whatever. And if the other person gets offended by that, they also need to realize, like, look, nobody's trying to hurt your feelings. Just trying to make sure that my feelings are heard and listened to.
Right.
And it's hard for a lot of people, especially
is.
guys, because we're dumb.
It is. Communication is hard.
Yep.
And being honest is hard, because I think at the beginning of the relationship, being honest is scary. You're like, this person's going to leave me if I tell them exactly how I feel.
Absolutely. And I mean, why wouldn't you feel that way? Especially, I mean, come on, my dad left when I was 4 and I was raised by a single mother. Like, you'd imagine, well, if I say anything, maybe you'll leave too, that kind of thing.
A lot of things to unpack, definitely
a lot of things
on this
to
show.
unpack. And that's what our plan is to do, is to try to go through and unpack all of these things, and not just about us, speaking about other people and our guests and our friends that we'll have, because we got a ton of veteran friends.
Yes.
All of our sponsors and anybody who wants to be interviewed by us on this show. But hey, be ready, because I'm gonna be asking some questions.
Some good questions.
Yes, well, at least I hope some good questions.
They will be.
But with that said, you know how at least on our other podcast, I would tell them, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck out of here, because we got stuff to do. But we want to, because we actually get to thank people. This one.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We get to thank people and tell them,
people actually
sponsor. Or, it's weird because, Masterpiece Studios,
Yes.
they're the ones that are ones, this is where we're at, and we do have Intelligent Design, with special thanks to those guys. The Mental Health Podcast.
Check them out.
The Common Good Radio Show.
Yes.
Listen for that one. And, of course, last but not least, Beautiful Sunday Marketing Collective, which, of course, is your thing and what you got going on. But with all of that said, I want to say thank you to everybody, and thanks for listening. See you later. Bye.
In Herm's house.
Not just you and me.
Herm's house.